Okay, so we are doing a bit of different setups and different kind of recordings. And so what kind of recordings are you doing, Laura?
Well, we've just been working on recordings of a string quartet. So in this case, we're capturing the motion both of the musicians, four musicians, and at this point I was looking at their bow movements and sometimes also the movements of their instruments.
So what did you think when you were planning for placing the cameras in this setting?
Yeah, it's actually quite a complex setup with four musicians because you have the musicians in their chairs and their music stands and their bows, and everybody is moving all the time. So there's a lot of possible sources of occlusion.
Yeah.
So it's likely that the cameras are going to be blocked, their view of the markers are going to be blocked at some point. So you have to very strategically place the cameras at very different angles to make sure that you're capturing every part, so capturing all around the four musicians, but then getting different angles so that when they move, the view of the markers will not disappear.
So how many cameras should capture each marker at each time, do you think?
Well, you
ideally?
Want at least two cameras, but ideally you would like perhaps 3 or 4, given that the musicians are going to be moving quite a lot.
Exactly.
And what have you been looking to capture?
Yeah, so I've been doing recordings of both musicians and dancers, and my dancers are really moving about. So first of all, I need quite a large space, and also my cameras are placed at different heights. And also one thing to think about when you do recordings with dancers is that you have to remember that they may also move higher than the head if they have like their hands up in the air. So that is also something that one have to remember when you place the cameras. Have you done something similar?
I have with piano duos. In this case, we had 2 grand pianos that were facing each other so that the pianists were looking straight at each other across the two. So this meant that the 2 pianists were the length of 2 grand pianos apart from each other. And this was in kind of a constrained space. So it was necessary to cluster the cameras around the 2 musicians, 4 cameras and 4 cameras in that case, and make kind of 2 sub-capture volumes. So, can you tell me why you have used this particular type of camera?
So the reason why I used, I used several systems, but I also used this one for capturing in the field, because they're quite small, and works very well, I think. Mm-hmm. And they're light and quite easy to put up.
Yes. Yes, I've also used these outside of the lab, and it is quite easy to capture actually quite a large area, even if they are very small. And when you set up your experiments, do you use this kind of thing, or do you use tripods?
I used both, but I used tripods as well, because in some of the rooms that I've been, there is not really anything else to attach them to. That works well as well. The only thing that you have to make sure is that the floor is really stable, and also with the dancers, that the dancers don't come so close, because then they can start to move, and then it doesn't work.
So if there's many people dancing, then the floor moves.
Yeah, sometimes. So that is something to be aware of if you're using tripods.